Please join me for the pledge and we'll pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, we ask that you watch over these proceedings and guide us. Give us the wisdom to do the business for Fremont County. And help us make the good decisions for the people that live here. We also ask you in your name to please give us some rain. We need this for their parched lands. And to also to watch over our first responders, protect them and guide them, and watch over them for these fires that they're fighting in different areas around Wyoming. We ask that you do this, in Jesus' holy name. Amen. Amen.
Yes.
Few changes from what was published, at 11:15, Harold Albright, was planning to hold the interview. And then at 1:30, just before budget hearings, Laura Harrington will be here for personnel via Zoom.
At 1:30.
Yeah, and it should be after that. It's just the changes when it's not was published.
Commissioners. Motion approved the agenda with changes noted. But we moved and seconded to approve the agenda with changes. Further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Yes.
I just want to remind you that 5 o'clock today, the recommend power does shut off all of our power, so we wouldn't want to blow up the screens and all that stuff. So just a FYI.
Okay, thank you. Minutes. Motion approved the minutes. Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes. Further discussion. Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passed. We have quite a stack of bills to be paid. Motion to approve the bills. Second. Been moved and seconded to approve payment of those bills. Further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. We do have Title 25.
Yes, we do, Mr. Chairman. We have a bill from the Wyoming Behavioral Institute in the amount of $19,604. Motion to approve payment.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve payment to Wyoming Behavioral Institute for $19,604. Further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. One question on that, Julie, with that, we were gonna do a budget transfer for that. Was that included in?
Mr. Chairman, we estimated out the best we could. So that was the new one right after our meeting. That one came in. I didn't know about those, and I don't know if Emma got a chance to talk to the attorney about if they know of any.
Okay,
That was the only one she knew of, so,
okay.
but we did estimate like 50,000, where we thought maybe 30 was the adequate, so that's what the budget hearing will be.
Thank you. Signature file.
Mr. Chairman, we have a grant agreement between Wyoming State Lands Office and Fremont County. Julie, did you want to speak to this at all? Has your name on it? Is this for elections?
No.
Okay. It's the most ambiguous thing I've ever read.
I know, I've actually been sitting on it. I don't like to take money that I don't know what we're going to do with it. So I finally have an idea, I guess. So the legislature passed a bill that required the county clerks to send all of our deeds to the Homeland Security after they're recorded with us. We have 15 days to do that. we've been doing that. I'm gonna be honest with you, Fremont County is struggling with that because our program doesn't give them exactly what they want, but we also found out through a committee, they have no idea what they want. So, which is really sad that we are giving information and it's not helpful to the Homeland Security right now. I think we'll get there, but anyway, long story short, so they gave us money in case we had to pay our vendors to fix things. So far, our vendor has not charged us. The only other option that has come up from another county attorney, and I did send it on to Nathan, was that it could be, I could accept it. And then that money would go in as a revenue and it would pay for, in the air, pay for my staff's time, which does take, it has taken us a lot of time to put that stuff together for them. And that's an ongoing thing. So I suggested that today is the last day for our board to accept that. So I would ask you to accept that money, and then I'm going to send them a proposal that I'm going to use it for that purpose of basically backfilling our staff time. And if they approve that, then we'll get the money.
So, Mr. Chairman, question, and Julie, those are fixed costs already. So how could those possibly be expended into something that we're already budgeted?
Mr. Chairman, it's a revenue, just like the emergency management gets reimbursed for part of their salaries, and so does the county attorney. It's just another fund that comes from another revenue that can go into our county budget. And then I have to have a reason I'm asking for it. I don't have any costs from my vendor right now, unless we can't fix this, which right now we're still struggling to get it fixed for them.
Yeah,
So I could write that, and I mean, with the possibility of using it for software updates if necessary. I mean, I think I could adjust the proposal that Converse County did. And it seemed to me that this Converse County had requested the Shelley Hood, if that would be okay for us to use it for those purposes, and they seem to think that that would work. But anyway, today's the last day to accept the money or reject it. Some counties have rejected it and said, no, we're not going to take the money. I think it does help backfill what we are trying to do for them, which is taking time out of what the rest of the stuff we do. And I should say why we're doing this. We want to make sure that the Chinese and whoever doesn't take up buy up property around our sensitive areas in the state, like your military areas. I can't think of all the, anyway, that was the reasoning for that. And it came down to us, and we already recorded, so we can't stop that. So it's just a matter of knowing that they bought it. I don't know what happens if they didn't want them to buy it, but anyway, that's what the bill ended up doing, so to speak.
yeah, I would never sign anything if I got, I mean, this thing is just the most ambiguous thing. Set forth the terms and conditions of the grantee will complete improved technology changes and upgrades to critical infrastructure. God, we could be painting bicycles with this.
And Mr. Chairman, I don't think we are so desperate that we need $10,000 from you.
Right.
So if you choose to say no, I'm okay with that too. How about that? I mean,
Mr. Chairman, it's up to you. What you want to do with the commission here? I'm not gonna make a motion on it, but if somebody else says, that's fine.
Today's the last day.
yeah, because it has to be in by the 12th. So this is your last day to look. And I apologize. I had totally forgotten that they had even sent us. It's not been very. Again, I think they're struggling on their end. So the communication was a long time ago. And then recently I had to ask for I said, are we getting a contract? What are we doing? So I'm supposed to make a decision. So please send it. So I got it last week.
Any commissioners want to do this?
Mr. Chair, I've got a question there. If that's what we've been doing for the Homeland Security stuff, if that's taking away from other things that need to be done, should those funds be put in so that we can cover the cost of maybe overruns with hourly, the catching us up? with where we may be falling behind on our duties.
Are we paying overtime or anything?
Mr. Chairman, the most time that we're taking is getting this set up so that, so the computer system that we have, I had it set up daily, so that didn't cost, didn't do anything. But they failed to let me know until they told another county that we weren't doing it right. Anyway, that it wasn't getting what they needed. And I have been so my time has been working on just trying to get it to work for them. Eventually, what is gonna cost us overtime is because we are shorthanded and we're super busy right now, we have to be at least 15 days current. We are not. And they are working really hard to do that, but business is booming and that's great, but they're super busy over there for 4 little people. And so I may have to do overtime because we will have to be caught up to 2 weeks at a time.
Julie, will this additional funding help?
Mr. Chairman, I don't know that it, and Mr. Commissioner Thomas, I don't know that it totally helps us. Like I said, I don't think we're drowning without $10,000. But, and if you don't feel like that's a very good contract, then we send the message back that it's not a very good contract and we'll continue doing what we do and we'll make sure we're caught up to 14 days. We'll do that. That's the way we are over there. We'll do whatever it takes to be there by statute, so.
I would suggest that we send this back to them and tell them that it's a poor contract, and if they could define what the uses are and how it's to be used and make it more specific, then we'll consider it then.
Mr. Chairman, when you're talking to your legislators, you might consider telling them how this did not.
Further comment?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
that's awful. Contractor really is. The 10,000, I think, would cover some of the stuff, but I don't, the root contract, the left hand doesn't understand what the right hand's doing.
And Mr. Chairman, to be clear, I did have Nathan review it. I don't know what your thoughts were on that so necessarily. You sent me back some comments, but.
Mr. Chairman, I guess my view on it is somewhat vague on what we're required to do, but that's also gives us a lot of flexibility to apply these funds in a lot of different places. My thought was having perhaps our GIS person enhance what they're doing. The state's supposed to supply the county with I guess maps of these critical infrastructure zones. And so the GIS tool seems to be the best way to see those zones and know if there's been any conveyances that happen inside those zones. Because we only have to send over deeds that are within 5 miles of the critical infrastructure zone, not all deeds. But it's more work for somebody.
And Mr. Chairman, it ends up being all these because I have no idea where we're a recorder. We are not title companies. You bring me a deed, I don't care if it's right or wrong. My job is to record it. So I have no idea. So every deed is a good one because I don't have a clue. I'm just a recorder. I take your money and I put it on, if it meets all of my criteria. So I don't go through, I have no idea where our critical infrastructure is, to be honest with you. So, and it doesn't go down to our GIS, it just stops with us. They just want all the deeds, then they're mapping it on their end, is my understanding. Again, like I said, it's not going to kill us not to take it, and some counties have said no. I just wanted to make sure I put it in front of you and let you know what's happening in our office, and how I propose to use it if you want to approve it. So either way, I'm good.
Okay. Unless one of the board members wants to make a motion, if not, we'll send it back to them and ask them for more clarification.
Mr. Chair, in your opinion, that we should kind of look at it, accept it, is it good to have a contract for the county?
Mr. Chairman, I don't think it doesn't expose us to anything. There's no danger approving this contract.
Okay,
They're requesting a proposal from the county on how we'll spend the money, and then they'll say yes or no.
okay, but this amount of money would be put in the help for, till we go through that process.
I think they would award it once the county's proposal is approved. All right. I'm not sure.
Correct. That's correct.
Make a motion.
Do you want to make a motion?
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we grant agreement between Wyoming Office of State Land and Investments and Fremont County. Motion to approve.
Right. Been moved and seconded to approve the grant between the state land and investment and Fremont County for infrastructure, work, technology changes. Further discussion?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Yeah, I get it. We can always use another $10,000, but this sounds to me like a poorly defined action of the legislature, a poorly executed administrative action by the state agency, and it's still public money. And to me, the word transparency comes up in every other conversation that we have around the state and in the county, and this isn't transparent because it's a contract that's so doggone vague. It's kind of a principle thing for me, so I'll be voting against it.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Chairman,
Yes.
we're so apt to go to our constituents and tax them on whatever we're gonna tax them because we act like we don't have any funds to take care of things. Yet we've got items to look at in the sense of big grants and funds that can come in that we can approve, that we can look at posing ways of using it. We act like we're not hurt. We're hurt, so why don't we go ahead and use everything that we can to be able to fund things that we don't have funds for, instead of going to our constituents and saying, well, now you need to vote taxes that, it's just a taxation thing that we can't afford. So in that, anything that comes to this table that can help us funding wise, I think we should look at. In that way we don't have to go to our constituents and say, well, you need to help us. So in that, that's why I seconded the motion on it.
Okay. Any further discussion? I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed?
All right.
Motion passed. Chairman votes yea. Okay. Let's do it then.
Mr. Chairman, we have a application to construct a driveway on 8 Mile Road. Move to approve.
Second. Been moved and seconded to approve approach for 8 Mile Road. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Mr. Chairman, we also have an approach access application to construct a driveway on Lost Wells Drive. Move to approve.
Second. Been moved and seconded to approve construction of a new driveway on Lost Wells Butte. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Mr. Chairman, we also have an application to construct an access driveway on Tweed Lane. Move to approve.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve access on Tweed Lane. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Mr. Chairman, we also have a, application for cut cross or parallel construct utilities on, 924 Horse Creek Road. Move to approve.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve a cut on Horse Creek Road. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
And Mr. Chairman, we have the Commissioner's record of proceedings.
Thank you. Priority.
Chairman, we have the Fremont County lease agreement, government building use permit. In review, in terms of, using this. Motion to approve this Fremont County government office space lease agreement for outside agencies for, going to be for 1 year renewable term.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve
Fremont County lease agreement and government building use permit.
further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
We have also update from IT update from TCI. Chairman, if you would be in the best interest of Justin, if he would come see us face to face. But we do have an update from them. It's going to be beneficial for us for that.
We can ask you to join us. Have that conversation.
We also have letters, one from the Christopher Brazel follow-up regarding property taxes, that requesting up to the block.
Give it Tara and draft the letter.
Next letter is Brian Wilson, Fire Protection.
Chairman, if I could, Tara brought in some information that she has taken action on that.
Okay,
I think it's on. the same.
okay, yep, it is. Thank you.
Chairman, the next one is the Brian Wilson Fire Protection District banquet concern. And the third is David Cross Union Pass Road tree mortality road treatment request for reply.
I'll get with Billy and draft a reply.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
on the Brian Wilson thing for the fire district, I just want to make sure you all read proper use of public funds. Proving that our Department of Audit is ramping up a little bit on checking the budgets that are coming in from special districts. I did have talked to the folks at the fire district, and they were that they couldn't use their public funds the way they were for their awards banquet. So they have mitigated that, how they're going to do it in the future, but I thought it was very important for you all to know that, because it's very good for county governments to look at as we're doing policies. That's the reason I have that in your file.
and I do know that county fire hired a new accounting firm, so maybe they will have that discussion with them as well.
Sounds like they're on top of it.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
So I take it that public funds are already used on their awards dinner or whatever it was.
Had been, yes.
Yeah. Chris, we should send them a note. It's not just like, okay, we caught you and the ignorance isn't an excuse. But should we ask them to go find some sponsors to pay that back? How much money was it, you know?
Mr. Chairman, I don't know, it's something they've done for years, thinking they could do that way. I think what's interesting about that is, I know here at the county, when we do like a county Christmas party, we have a committee that raises a lot of money. We put our money into that. I mean, but I've heard of entities who put a full-on Christmas with or whatever, words, whatever, with county
Right.
or with county city, other funds. So I bring that to the attention of our board just because we don't do that. We
Right.
have been very good
Never
about
have.
not doing that. No.
I
So
just thought we were cheap.
no, we are not cheap. We have looked at this very carefully with our county attorneys over the years and know that that is a absolute no-no. We do what we do for our employees, even like the professional day. I buy all my stuff by myself, and I know a lot of other elected officials do the same thing. So it's just a reminder to us, not that we've ever done anything wrong, but that's up to you if you'd like to have them come before you for their budget hearing. I mean, I've received notice that they had thought that awards were okay, and that apparently maybe the awards are okay, but not because we give out plaques too, but long-term stuff. But the dinner itself, I think, is the problem. Might be, I don't know.
Mr. Chairman, I think we should send a letter to all of our special districts, all of our groups, because I've heard of other groups doing
Just send a
that.
copy of that too.
Pardon me?
I can send a copy of
I
that.
do have, well, I had it in our file. I read it. Yeah, I read it online, but, seems like we ought to be sending a letter out to all these boards and say that's absolutely out of bounds. You can't spend public funds on a banquet because it's presumed as a gift, or at least it's interpreted that way by the state. So I think we should do that and,
And I do
make it
send
really
them,
clear.
yeah, and I do send them a budget reminder thing, so I've already got that queued up to go, so I can do that. I'll just send a copy of that so they can read it themselves.
Yep.
Okay,
Yes,
Julie, that is to all, special districts and all boards.
yes.
okay.
Chairman, we also have our certificate of liability insurance from Frontier Ambulance and a priority on demand. And then monthly revenue report.
Thank you. Public comment. Lenny Waitress,
Yes.
did I pronounce it right? Please come up and introduce yourself.
Right.
Just a reminder, you have 2 minutes
All right.
and, go ahead.
Right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, for allowing us to speak. And I know you're doing a lot of good work. It's not an easy job. I appreciate that. My name is Lenny Poitras. I live here in Lander. I've lived here for 29 years. I'm a local business, small business owner. Anyway, I would like to talk about the library, which I know you probably don't want to, but I'm asking you in these next selection of candidates for the board to please consider moderate choices for this board when you make your next selection, because the library is just so important to our communities. And this continual controversy is damaging our communities. And I just wanted to, just in case we forgot, above the folds, articles about dysfunction at the library and things like that. I feel that it is damaging to our community. It's all so well documented right now, where if someone was coming new to our community and they went to look at the paper, this is what they would see. And I just don't think that that's a healthy way to run an organization. So, and not only that, but I feel that we are running into the danger of possible litigation if we continue down this road, because I'm sure you're aware Campbell County had a suit when they terminated their library director. And I would hate for our public monies to go to something like that, because we're talking about $10,000 here, but that was a $700,000 settlement. So I'm just urging you, we're a moderate community. Let's make moderate choices. Thank you.
Thank you. Jim. Thank you.
So
Morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Coming to you today, to discuss our postage machine. What I just given you was the, capital outlay request for the capital revolving committee. I had submitted that, for consideration for next year. The committee hasn't met yet, of course, and so the problem that we have is that our postage machine is all but a boat anchor at the moment. About 5-6 months ago, the computer interface software side of it stopped working. The software was just end of life, and so we've been nursing along using the integrated computer part of the postage machine. And now that postage machine, I don't know if it's the dynamic weighing scale or whatever, but it is just not functioning. And this is a horrible time for this to happen. I have in my office, we are in the process of sending out delinquent notices. I believe we had over 4,000 delinquent notices that needed to go out. The election office has absentee ballots that need to go out here very shortly. And we got an email yesterday from the circuit court saying, you know, we have things that need to be done on a very timely basis. The postage machine is a problem if they can't do this. So the benefits of having a postage machine here as opposed to just working through the post office is that we do get a discount on all of our postage. We pay 74 cents for a first class letter, and it's currently 78 cents if you were to go to the post office. So we're saving 4 cents. And it's going up, correct. You know, it's we're already set up. What I'm suggesting here is basically the newer version of the postage machine that we have. In addition to this, the post office is changing the indicia that they print on the labels, and so literally our postage machine will be absolutely obsolete within a year. So while you know we could, you know, just based off of obsolescence from that standpoint, we could wait, but we can't wait because of the behavior of the postage machine. So my request today is to, rather than push this out into next year, to ask you to consider doing an emergency authorization. The new postage machine, which includes all equipment, setup, and first year of maintenance, is just under $13,000. So I put a request for $13,000.
What's the annual cost?
The annual costs, I have it listed on here, but I don't remember what it was off the top of my head.
3400 and 2388 after the first year.
Yeah, so 2388 is the first year, and that's covered within that $13,000. It'll be about $3,400 in subsequent years. So our first year of maintenance is covered.
So you said you applied through you're submitting a request to capital revolving.
I did, yeah, this is the actual request that I sent to
So
Julie.
how would the repayments be divided between, would it be divided with
Well,
all the departments?
6 years ago, when we bought our last postage machine, the commission took on rental payments for all of this stuff. So I think we could sort that out. Either it goes back to your department, commission department, it's a countywide thing, or we could tap into the 1690 department that does our support services thing, which is where we pay our postage supplies and like that now.
Questions?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry, I was trying to read this while you were talking, so I might have some of this wrong. What's the 13,000?
13,000 includes all new machines, so it includes a dynamic scale, the postage meter, computer,
Okay,
an external scale, external printer.
and then what is the rental? What are we?
So the rental, there's the actual postage meter that is inside of the machine belongs to the post office.
I got it.
We can't buy that. We have to rent it.
I got it.
So there is I think it's $860 currently a year for that meter.
And Mr. Chairman, and regardless of whose budget it sits in, is this an increase over what our monthly fees have been for this, or the same?
As far as
in terms
like
of hitting a budget?
maintenance, it's probably a little bit more expensive. The software is new and things like that. Not substantially.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And we will see savings in the first year because it's been included in this. The other option that Midwest Connect, who is our vendor, has given me is also to look at a lease purchase agreement where we don't buy it outright. We just lease it over a 5-year period. The bad thing about that is that we would end up paying just over $30,000 over across the 5 years for, $13,000 piece of equipment.
And Mr. Chairman, and what's the life expectancy of this equipment? I remember buying the other one. Right?
Yes,
It's
yes,
only- so
like
that's
6 years ago, yeah,
6 years ago.
yeah.
So, and how much was that one? Do you know?
It was right around 12,000.
So we spent close to $30,000 anyway. Okay. All right.
Funded, could we just come out outright fund it through LATC?
That would be up to you.
That's all. Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
even if we do that, I think we run it through capital revolving, although there would be no rental payments, as I recall, Jim. We can do that. We do have money in LHC. The other thing I wanted to mention that Jim didn't mention is this was on the capital revolving list last year, and we chose not to
Right.
let him
We
have
did.
it. So and speaking for the election department and for the courts, they brought me a handful the other day of stuff that needs to go out of like, what am I gonna do with this stuff? If I have to start going and getting stamps, it's more money than a postage machine per stamp, but that's what I'm gonna have to do. And I don't want to have to, and I'm not going to be really happy if I have to do that with absentee ballots. That's a lot of them. So if we can get this, I'm really hoping you will approve this some way, shape or form.
If we approve it today.
I'm not 100% sure. I think that, as soon as I get the approval, I'll get in touch with Midwest Connect. They're out of Nebraska. If it's going to be a little bit of a lag time, I'll ask about having a service call on the current one to see if there's something that they can bandage together to get it to limp through until this one is delivered. That's a service call is covered by our service agreement. Any parts or whatever would be additional payments. So if it's expensive parts, I'm not inclined to spend a bunch of money on the old machine to get a new one.
To buy it to get the new one.
Right.
So your suggestion would be to approve it, an emergency approval through capital revolving. Go from there.
That was my request. If you would like to fund it some other way, that I would entertain that. Well,
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve the $13,000 for the purchase of this postage equipment. And I think we can handle the other incremental increases to the budget. We don't have to include that in this. So just the $13,000 from the capital revolving.
Been moved and seconded to approve this postage machine IX-7, amount 13,000 to come out of capital revolving. Further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Jill, Casey.
Morning, Chairman.
Chairman Commissioners, so the first thing we have are some declaration of speed limits for 2 different roads. The first one is B Road. This is a gravel road up on the north side of Riverton. And so this declaration of speed limit, does require a resolution to be passed. And What we are recommending is that a speed limit of 30 miles per hour be declared for that gravel road.
Commissioners,
You
B road, yes.
know, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we accept the recommendations of changing the speed limit to 30 miles an hour.
Second.
been moved and seconded to approve the recommendation for the B road speed limit. Further discussion?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
So I'm trying to remember, but the legislature gave us some leeway on gravel roads, and I cannot remember what it was. But and this wasn't in our packet, so I would have searched that out a little bit. Do you recall what I'm talking about? What leeway we have there?
Yeah, so Mr. Chairman, I believe what the state passed was that counties could set speed limits on unpaved roads without a speed study or just at their discretion.
Okay.
We do have speed studies for both of these, so we've
Okay.
actually gone above and beyond, so we have all the data to support
Okay.
these recommendations.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
And then, Mr. Chairman, we have a second road. This is a clothesline road, so also on the north side of Riverton. This road is half paved and half gravel. And so we are recommending on the paved portion to declare a speed limit of 55 miles per hour. And on the gravel portion to declare a speed limit of 35 miles per hour. And currently there is no posted speed limit on any of these roads.
Questions, commissioners? What's your pleasure? Close the
Clothesline road.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we accept the proposal of the speed limit of Clothesline Road. That 55 miles an hour on pavement, 30 on gravel.
35.
35 miles.
Okay.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the speed limit changes for Clothesline Road. Paved 55 mile an hour, gravel 35 mile an hour. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Chairman, while we're up here, Billy was gonna bring this to you. But he met with the BLM, probably a month ago, maybe. And, we have contracts from the BLM for the Clater Pit, which is a pre-use permit. And also for the Jeffrey City Pit. I was wondering if we could get signatures on both of those.
Now, their approvals from the BLM for what?
For the gravel pits, for the Jeffrey City Pit and the Clater Pit.
Commissioners?
Mr. Chairman, those were in the packet, right?
That is correct.
And has Nathan looked at it?
No, these are a standard.
Are they just renewals?
They're just renewals. Is what they are.
So the BLM has been, I know the BLM has been working with us pretty diligently on getting the gravel pits and renewing and approving renewals and continuations and stuff like that. And it's been a difficult process. I just urge you to move forward.
Mr. Chairman, do we need a
Yes.
I make a motion to approve both, from the BLM, approvals for the renal gravel pit, contracts.
Good. And moved and seconded to approve the renewals for the BLM contracts for the gravel pits. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passed. Is that it?
That is all.
We have a public budget hearing. We're way past due, but unfortunately. Julie.
Mr. Chairman, it's that time of year where we look back and make sure that all of our departments are doing okay. We have had some SLC adjustments. We've had some asks throughout the year that I have kept track of. And as you know, I look at their budgets and and Jim and I work together on this and determine whether or not they really need infusions or not. And so what you have in front of you today is the first of maybe not many. I know we have at least one for next week, but so the first one that you have on here is from the cash reserve SOC portion of the cash reserve, which is $300,000 that we have set aside. To the coroner, that gave an increase there, so I updated that for $4,000. Then out of the regular cash reserve, the pathologist fees for autopsies has surpassed his amount in the expenditure line item. Looking at I know we always talk about how much money she does bring in, and she probably will surpass that by the end of the month, but right now she does not. It's close. So I couldn't take it from her revenue and anticipated revenue. They also have some vehicle repairs that were not anticipated during the year, and you approved the striker saw replacement earlier in the year for $5,105 for a total of $27,105 to the coroner budget. The cash reserve also is being tapped to update our public defender budget, which is like an annual thing. The state fee was higher than expected. In looking at that, because everything is paid on that currently, we put in another $2,000 to cover the overage and then potential any of the transcription fees that might come through in this last month. We also took from the cash reserve enough money to put into our statutory medical or Title 25, as you call it. That fund had gone over, as we mentioned earlier today. Last week, we've determined both of us separately that we thought $50,000 might cover that. So we put that amount into the statutory medical budget and we'll continue to monitor that. Unanticipated revenue, the ag department, as you always know, is super tight on their budget. They brought in more money in their fees for people going to farm and ranch days or the sponsorships. And they were over a little bit in their farm and ranch days line item. So we've just taken their own revenue and put it on their farm and ranch days. The last one here, we had talked about this a long time ago and we never could get numbers correct. So I'm just going on what I'm seeing right now. So State of Wyoming Department of Health to the PHEP or the Public Health Emergency Preparedness grant. They were restored to more money. They originally, I think, just had enough money for a person and a couple of office supplies or something. It was kind of weird. Then they came back and let them have some travel money and restored that budget a little bit. What I'm seeing to make them whole would be $6,000. With that, Mr. Chairman, that is our budget hearing for today.
Commissioners, questions?
And I don't know if there's any public comment on it.
Since this is a public comment, is there any public comment on the items that were mentioned in the public hearing for today? Once again, are there any public comments for the items listed today? Okay, commissioners.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the budget transfers from the cash reserve SOC portion for the coroner, from cash reserve to the coroner for $4,000, from cash reserve to the coroner again for the different pathologist vehicle repairs and $27,105, from cash reserve to the public defenders for $2,000, cash reserve to statutory medical, $50,000, And also to improve the unanticipated revenues, from the agricultural reimbursement, of $1,000 in the state of Wyoming, PHAP program of $6,000.
Been moved and seconded to approve the items listed in the motion for the public budget hearing. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passed. Thank you. Chris?
Yes. And Karen Wetzel is gonna join me. There's.
Morning.
Good morning. Good morning, commissioners. Chair, thank you very much, for the time. I sent, the information that, we're gonna summarize and then hopefully discuss, last week, via Emma. In short, so I'm attempting to participate, very interested, constituent. My experience, as I gather from talking to a lot of folks, is pretty common. There is a low level of engagement from the public at the various meetings, town halls, city councils, FCAG here, etc. And we hear, and it's been written about, that the public has to participate. You've got to get involved. Meetings are open to the public. But when you look at the agendas, today's is a good example. The public comment time is before the agenda items. I don't know what's going to be discussed at these items. I don't know what the sheriff's going to bring up. I have no idea what I might comment on. I'm not even aware that there is a opportunity to comment after these agenda items. And my experience is that, with very, very few exceptions, there is no public comment, afforded by agenda item. So, in addition, the public can't zoom in to make comment. Although various agency heads and others are able to testify and present information, yet the public can't. The other thing that I realized since sending this was that many times the minutes covering public comment simply refer to so-and-so gave comment relative to this topic. But the actual comment and the concern or accolade, whatever it might be, is not delineated in the minutes that get produced. So the public can't really understand what was brought up and do they agree with the concern or want to weigh in with their level of praise. In short, it's not a healthy situation in our opinion. And not to just throw something on the table for you folks, we've put together 4 suggested improvements for you all to consider. Allow virtual, a Zoom or equivalent participation by the public at all regular and special meetings. There are ways to control this. It's not rocket science these days. And the second one is to add limited public comment to each agenda item at all regular and special meetings. This public opportunity should be placed prior to any voting that might be required based on the agenda item. And then for the larger, more impactful topics, add a public comment period. many of us recognized and witnessed, a few weeks ago, you putting in a public comment period for the MOA relative to the 3/4% tax initiative. Thank you. That should be done for anything that has, an impact on, say, county financials or personal property, of your constituents. The fourth item, is to require presenters to submit all documents in electronic format at least 18 hours prior to the commissioners' meeting. I've watched this evolve since the time I've become more engaged, and much of the content is not available online. We can ask Emma and others for that information, but for instance, everything that was presented today by the different departments is not available to us prior to having this conversation and having the meeting and witnessing what's going on here. I had to send you my information last Thursday. So we're suggesting for the public's well-being and a more healthy situation to have them post these things. The last thing, and this has been a stumbling block at many levels, state on down. Public records requests are made, and there are certainly good reasons not to have personal information shared. We get that. I don't want mine shared either. But when roadblocks are put up, financial or other roadblocks are put up, preventing any information to be sent out because it may have personally identifiable information in it, that's not helping the situation. It feels like we're being stonewalled. And so we would urge you to make presenters aware that if there's any personally identifiable information in their content, they need to segregate it. I was recently presented with a $6,000 estimate to get information from the WBC for grants that they made. It's just it's something I can't put up with. I can't afford that. And their reasoning was that they've got to redact it, review it from a legal standpoint, et cetera, because there might be some PII in there. I submit that if we get into a different mindset and start having people segregate this stuff, it's going to be easier for the public to know what's going on, and it's going to be less costly to provide information to everybody. I'm gonna pause and give Karen some time. I know we're limited here, and hopefully we'll have a conversation and perhaps a vote. Karen.
Thank you, Chairman and Commissioners. I agree with what Chris is talking about here. I think that public comment is very important when we come to public meetings. Most of the meetings that we go to, well, not most of them, but some of the meetings that I attend, Zoom, people can go on to Zoom and make a public comment. I don't believe that happens in these meetings. I'm not sure if that's because of something that's happened in the past, maybe with things showing up on the screen. If I recall correctly, that might be the reason. But I'm sure that can be fixed. So I believe that public comment should be available on Zoom. We do that in a couple of other meetings. I don't want the public to get the wrong impression that we do not allow public comment at our public meetings. The limited public comment to each agenda item at a regular and special meeting, I do agree with that as well, but I think that should be limited, very limited, to maybe 1 minute per person, not to, because I know everybody's time is important. And these meetings like today, I know you're going till probably 5 o'clock. It's a long day. So if we were to have public comments at the end of pertinent agenda items, it may not need to be at every agenda item, but anything that has to do with public finance or the way money is being spent or things that the public is super involved in, I believe there should be a public comment after that has been on the agenda. Regarding the public comment period, I think 90 days is too long for any public comment period. A shorter time period, maybe 15 to 20 days might be sufficient. Going back to, the city of Lander. And one, just for your reference, the city of Lander, when we go to the city council meetings, they have a packet that you can view online and you can print if you want to. And it lists all the things that are going to be on the agenda that night. Sometimes that could be 150 pages, but most times it's not. So they have something there that the public can look at, so we know what you're talking about before we actually come in and try to listen to what you're talking about, because we have no idea. So I think that's a good option. It's a great option to have people submit things 18 hours prior to your meetings. There were a couple of times this morning, I think, where you were searching for things that maybe had not been given to you. And those things should be in your hands prior to a meeting. That's basically all I had to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Well, I, for one, would need a little time to process some of this. I was on a school board and the public comment was always one direction. It was people come in, tell us we would not respond as the elected board members. And the rationale and the rationale was those people were elected to do the work, right, of the board. And I'm trying to process some of your suggestions in light of we do have elected people to manage the government. And I would be really cautious, and I just have to think through it. I'm not throwing an objection necessarily, but for me, I'd have to think through, are we inviting everybody to participate in every conversation? And it's just not an effective way to run a government or anything, right? So I understand the need or the desire to want to do that. I think to me, it opens up questions of, well, what about our priority mail? What about our signature file? There's a level of information that we get that unless you're sitting here every day for years on end, you're just not, I mean, it's like, it could open up a lot of things that would be difficult to manage. And so that's kind of my brain as I'm thinking through that. I think it's probably, or I know that Lander has had that available ahead of time. And I think we probably need to discuss that in terms of having that published ahead of time. But then we need to think through the implications of that. And I think I would need time to think through that and then have a conversation here with the commissioners. I get it. I get some of your things. Anyway, that's just my first reaction as I said, and I read this online before I came in today, so I had a chance to look through that stuff. So it's just been my mind's been kind of processing.
Sure, may I respond? Clearly, there needs to be some categorization of things, and I support that 100%. That Karen suggested, I forget the words you used, but key or more significant agenda items. For the record, no, I don't want to walk through every one of your invoices. I guess to close on the feedback, I agree with you. I think I speak for many. Your risk of overloading your meetings with public comment on a lot is probably extremely low.
No,
People don't know.
you're out of touch. We have a hot topic.
Yeah.
This room may be full and everyone wants to speak. We have an agenda to try to keep, that we need to keep track of, and everyone wants to speak. We
Right.
let them speak and then we run our meetings, which is totally wrong. I mean, we allow public comment. And I will say that there are some county commissions in the state that don't allow public comment
During the agenda items, Mr. Chair,
at
at all?
all, at all.
At all, no, I'm very familiar with that part of it.
So I'm just saying,
But you're saying I'm a little out of touch.
Right.
But for a hot topic,
right,
sure. But for every agenda item,
well,
I think.
it could turn into that easily.
So throttle that, so adjust it, but right now, and even today, you called for, graciously called for a public comment on the budget hearing, the overview. If we can ask people out there, I had no idea,
Mr. Chairman,
and I
I
didn't
just
have
gotta
to-
say on that any of those public hearings, generally is not just on the agenda. Those have to be published. It was published, and we have to have a public hearing for those.
Statute.
Yeah,
That's fine. I'm just reacting to today, when you called for public comment here in the room and for the record. I hadn't seen the budget. Wasn't expecting you to call for that public comment. It's great. I didn't know, and I don't think the average constituent knows that.
we do every time.
Every budget hearing, yeah.
Okay,
So,
budget hearings, okay.
Commissioner Thomas,
Chairman.
Yeah.
I'm with the Vice Chairman in taking time to look through this, but in taking time to look through this, if we were to adhere to this, then I would say that this would also apply to every governing board under the county. Our boards, meaning governing boards, would either do the same thing, which I think they're not doing. In a sense, what they're doing, in a sense, if we're being told to do this, our governing board, maybe library board, the fair board,
Yep.
any governing board underneath the county would have to adhere to what you're stating right now, which I don't think is happening.
It's not.
And in that, if someone's applying to us, who's on that board, then they must also understand that if we go this way, then all of our zoning boards underneath us would need to do the same.
To whatever degree.
Yes, because it's public. And in that, if they're not doing it, and we have a board member right here, if she's saying we have to do it, how come they're not doing that? See, in that, we would say you have to do it too as a governing board. See, in that, that's one of my looking into this to say, okay, if we apply this to ourselves, then we need to apply it to every single governing board that we have and those who hold boards within the county, under the county. That's what I want to work on in the sense that we're going to look at this.
Okay, more to the point, Vice Chairman Jones's concern or question about, we've got to figure this out. It's not we just can't swing the ship and open this up. You're not expressing a concern necessarily that the boards follow, but that you need to think through it, and it has to cascade down whatever the decision is.
I mean, if we do it, I mean, if whatever we decide to look at this and apply to us, I would say we have to honestly say it applies to everyone, but who has a board underneath the county.
Sounds reasonable.
so what about and I'm like Commissioner Jones and Commissioner Thomas, this is an idea to run by us. What about matters that need immediate decisions or attention or concerns? I mean, we don't have 20 days to wait. We have to act immediately.
No, you've got something that you've got a
But
hole to fill or a pipe to repair. No,
But if we make a policy that public comment would be 15 to 20 days prior to voting on all agenda items.
Well, then,
Okay,
excuse me,
yes.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. And in emergency situations, this probably would not apply. I think what we're trying to get to here is number one, we don't allow public comment on Zoom meetings. And most of the meetings that I attend, you can public comment on Zoom meetings. So that would be the first thing maybe to look at, allowing public comment during the open public comment period. when people can, comment on Zoom. Number two, where we have limited public comment to each agenda item at all regular and special meetings. That can be worked on a certain way where you allow maybe, because a lot of times the things that you're discussing, the public wants to have an input on your decision making. And I think the public should have a little bit of input on, maybe give you some fresh ideas. You don't have to let every single person speak. You could maybe limit that, and I don't know how this would work legally, but you could limit that to 5 minutes of public comment. Have one for, one against, one for, one against. Work it like that, and after you limit it to 4 minutes, only 4 people can get up to speak. So they would have to decide who's going to be up to speak, but that can be determined by who signs in first or how you want that to go. But having a limited public comment period on very important agenda items where the public has a true interest in what's going to happen, how you're going to vote. I think that's a very good thing. And going back to the public comment period of 15 or 20 days, again, if it's something that you have to vote on right then, if it's a water main break or something that the county has to work on immediately, then you don't have that public comment period. I think one of the biggest things for me is the Zoom, having the Zoom public comment so the people from home can comment as well.
So I'll address that and hopefully vaguely. We've had a few incidents. I think you were in attendance for one of them. Well, we've had several since then. And we lost our IT department head person, and we're working through that. But we've had a couple instances that have been very serious, and we've been advised by higher law enforcement to not to comment on it and not to do anything that would open up our system for home, even remotely. So for right now, that would be off. That's why I refused your request to do Zoom. We've had some issues that are very serious.
Yeah.
Very serious. That we can't talk about and until they approve us to do that.
I understand that.
But
completely.
historically, participation and interest in public comment and audience. I mean, Karen, you're here a lot. Janelle's here. I mean, but for the most part, those are the only two. And Mr. and Mrs. Jones are here. But so we may have 4 people that are here on a regular basis. It's, like I said, I agree with Commissioner Jones. I think we need to look through this. We're in the process of adopting new policies and procedures. But I will tell you this, none of this will probably happen until after we get done with budgets.
And that's perfectly fine. We know how busy you are.
Sure.
Just something to think about.
And just a follow-up on the emergency items and which items would you need to put out for public comment? Once you've got the budget set, you have line items in there to handle emergency stuff. Have line items in there to handle 95% of what goes on out here. If you need to buy a new patrol car, it's already baked into the budget. But that's assuming. And so I wouldn't expect you to throw it out to the.
No, we approve funding, but we also have to approve the request. Say if they're in an accident, their vehicle needs replaced, we have to get reports from vehicle maintenance. We
Sure.
have to get a request from the department head whose vehicle it was. We have to go through the insurance. I mean, there are so many things that we have to do. We don't just say, oh yeah, Ron Fabricius gets in the truck this week.
Well,
That'd be nice.
maybe not mine.
Well, yeah,
I understand, but the bulk of it's already baked in.
right. So
Okay.
we will,
Mr. Chair.
yep,
Appreciate that.
I think you got some good comments here, and the board has tried to get the public comment And we invite all people to come. And if you have a question, our department heads are really more than happy to sit down with people and go over things and show them budgets or whatever issues they have before them. But one of the things that I would like to really see, and I've suggested it to our fair board, is that they get on Zoom. We haven't, we need that, and if they're on Zoom and we require that they be on Zoom, it cuts down on these emergency meetings that they're so called, they're emergencies. If it has to be required to be on the Zoom so that all people can see and participate and know what that governing body is doing. And I think that's a good suggestion. And I think that's what we should have those boards do. That make that part of our requirements for department heads and whoever is leading the board. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming in. Sheriff.
Chairman, Commission, good morning.
Morning.
Thank you for the time this morning. I'd like to bring, if you have a handout there concerning the current state of our agency as it's compared to the several different job classifications or SOCs. And where we look through the adjustment schedule that was provided to us by Emma. And we did review that, and we found several discrepancies in our SOC line items, if you will. Many of the employees are down, according to this schedule, in the level 2 or level 3 of the 10th percentile. So we have gone through and tried to adjust that to bring everybody up to at least the high level 3 of the 10%, which I think would be around the 20 percentile, and into the level 1 or level 2 of the 25th percentile. On this page here, don't tell you on it, but we kind of work down through that. It's going to show the current pay rate and what the 25th percentile in most of these show as to what that salary should go to, and then the difference or the increase in each position. So as you can see in the very top, the increase, we look at our patrol lieutenants, that's an increase of $3,000 to their salary, and that would put them in between the high of the 10th and the low of the 25th percentile, Mr. Chairman. For our detectives and sergeants, we're looking at an increase of 2,190, which would put them at the level 1 of the 25th percentile.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to follow you. You're looking at different, are we still on this document?
This document right here, sir.
Okay.
So do you have levels?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
We don't have levels for our lieutenants, our detectives, or our sergeants. Those are set. But we have levels for our sworn employees and the other personnel that work in the office. And I have copies of that here. That's been approved by that's what we've been working off of for the last 8 years.
This one?
Yes.
Okay.
So we're on this sheet here.
Right.
Sorry, it's not labeled. So we go into our patrol staff, our deputy sheriffs, we're looking at an increase. We looked at our starting pay, an increase of $162, which bring them to the 25th percentile. And then down through, you can see deputy 2, deputy 3, and our senior deputies. The senior deputy would be capped out in the 50 percentile of level 1, and that full increase there is $3,000. That's somebody that's worked for us for 15 years plus years of service as a senior deputy sheriff, and that would bring their salary to the level 1 of the 50th percentile. For our administrative assistants, we can see that there's substantial increase in our admin one. We'll actually bring that person to the level, high level 3, the 10th percentile. And then as you look down through that, admin 2, 3, and 4, as well as our warrants clerk, bringing her up to the high level of the 10th percentile as well. Our systems administrator, an increase of $3,000, which would bring him to the high of the 10% and the low of the 25th percentile. With our controllers, our civilian employees, you can see that operator 1, that increase would be $2,000, which would bring them to the high level of the 10th percentile. And then operator 2 and 3 and so forth, and our senior operators would be an increase of $2,500 at the high level of the 25th percentile. I guess what all this means, as we look down through it, you can see the column on the very right, the number of employees that would be affected and each SOC increase, with the total number over to the right, and then the bottom figure being that $129,000 request to bring the SOCs back up to the current rate. Now, before we have any further questions I guess I can stand for questions now. Our Under Sheriff Hutchison has a presentation regarding local salaries for law enforcement officers and then around the state as well.
Mr. Chairman, one quick question, if I could. What's the fully burdened number? That's just salary, not fringe.
Correct.
With the
And so
129, do you know what it is?
I'm looking at probably right around $150,000 if we put 15% on that.
Okay.
For fringe.
Yeah, Julie, is that an appropriate number? Because, man, I looked through budgets and we've kind of talked about it, fringes are another 15%, but when I look at actual budgets, it always feels like it looks a lot higher to me than that. And again, I've only spot checked a couple of areas.
About 23%.
About 23%. Okay, so add another 23 on top of that. Okay. All right. That's all I had. You can go ahead with your.
Okay, and then, I didn't want to leave out our two nurses. Currently, they're being paid in the 50th percentile. However, as with both, we're looking at, they've had sagged at wages for the last 3 or 4 years, and we're looking at trying to give them some sort of an increase, which was the request that we put in last week to raise our nurses' salary by $2,700.
You have 2 of them, right?
Correct.
And all the other numbers are accurate? I mean, as far as the number of employees?
Yes, sir.
So I got a question. The senior deputy, you had said with that increase, that would bring him up to the level 1 at the 50%?
50 percentile, sir. Yes. That's for employees that have worked for us 15 years plus.
And how many other employees do you have that are in that same category?
We currently have 6 senior deputy sheriffs, 1 senior operator, control operator, 1 senior kitchen manager. As it says right there, under number of employees, as it's relevant to each position. Mr. Chairman.
Okay, sorry.
Mr. Chairman, I'm gonna let Under Sheriff Hutchison have a brief presentation on salaries across the state of Wyoming here locally.
Mr. Chairman, as you guys had requested, the last time we met, in addition to the SOC classifications and where we fit into the SOC classifications, you had asked for a little bit further information as far as how we rank numerically in the state. And so, I've prepared a little bit of a study, explaining that. So this first packet that I've handed you is for law enforcement. And it was prepared using, numbers that are published, by agencies around the state on a shared file, through the Wyoming Sheriff's Association. And you can browse through it at your leisure. Just some key points that I wanted to touch on the first page under the summary heading, the items that are highlighted, in yellow, breaks it down. The numbers I included, the local municipal police department. We reached out to them and asked them to provide us with their entry level salaries, which they did provide to us, as well as Wyoming Highway Patrol entry level salary. So as you can see, in the highlighted yellow area under the summary section, we rank 14th out of 20 agencies that reported on that shared file that is compiled by the Wyoming Sheriff's Association. As far as the mid-level pay or lateral transfer pay, the report that's published doesn't include all of their step increases. They only provide 3 figures. Entry level, lateral transfer, kind of mid-range of the lower end in their steps, is where that typically falls. And then their top step after their, basically what would be our senior deputy or comparable. So in the mid-range, we're 9th out of 11 that reported that figure. And in the top salary range, we rank 13 out of 17 counties that reported. There's a couple graphs and some charts that you guys can peruse through at your leisure, but it kind of gives you a picture of where we sit compared to the other sheriff's offices around the state. Not all 23 counties reported. So what we have is what we have. So you can kind of, go through it and see where we sit at all 3 levels, our entry level, our mid-range, and our top pay for our deputies as they compare to other law enforcement entities around the state. And it also includes the Riverton Police Department, the Lander Police Department, and the Shoshone Police Department.
Questions, commissioners?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, which counties would you say are the most similar? That's probably a good question, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. I mean, if you were to think out and say which county probably compares to what we do and what's on our, who would you say?
Right off the top of my head, Mr. Chairman, I'd say more likely Sweetwater County. It's a little higher population, I believe, but same land size. Actually more land size, but about the same operation.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I think Dennis Sheriff is going to visit about the communications officer study that was also done. I would bring to your attention on the rate sheet that I handed out earlier, where you started to list down lower left is our dispatch pay. As you know, they've received several adjustments over the last few years. And currently the operator 1 is already in the 25th percentile, and they move up significantly into the 50th percentile by the time they're to operator 4, operator 3. So we're not looking at any serious adjustments right there at this time. Or from what we're looking at, the table that was presented to us by it.
Okay.
The second handout that I just passed out, it looks similar. The heading says Wyoming Sheriff's Office Communications Officer Compensation Study. Again, you can peruse that at your leisure. Just some items to note. Even less counties reported into the statewide sharing system. And part of that is due to the counties that have a combined dispatch center. None of the unified communication centers or joint powers board centers reported in this study, so we don't have that information. We did reach out to several of those, and we only got one response that was pretty late it was from Converse County. The other unified centers haven't responded to us yet, so they're not included into the data set that was used to compile this. So again, this is just a numerical ranking according to the published figures for communication centers. Items of note highlighted in yellow under the summary heading. We currently rank 7th out of 10 reporting agencies in entry-level communication officer pay. We rank 5 out of 7 in that mid-range or like lateral transfer, semi-experienced level. Only seven counties reported in that. So there's some statistical problems with only 7 counties reporting, but 9 counties reported their top level or top step pay. And in that top level of pay, we rank 4th out of 9 that reported that top level pay. Again, some charts and some graphs and just some comparison that you can look through.
Questions? Okay. I guess not. No questions. We'll, like I said, we'll take a look at it.
Thank you.
Go from there.
Yeah, and I think I'll make a copy. These are my notes. I'll make a copy of this. I'll
Okay.
provide it to you. It'll make it a little easier than looking at this chart. So
I chart.
let me, I know I had to do it to make the notes, so.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Sure, have you lost any, money to get the fire paid jobs out of county and somebody else, I suppose, Teton County called to jump at it?
Yeah, Teton, Mr. Chairman, yeah, Teton County called. I think a lot of people would jump at that. They'd have to live in Idaho, but,
Yeah.
Right.
they'd be there working, but, not in the recent memory have we lost anybody to pay chief that I'm aware of.
And would your budget cover this increase? What do you have there for budget?
Mr. Chairman, no, our current budget and what we have budgeted for our proposed budget for next fiscal year does not include any of this. This is presented to you based upon the SOC adjustments that are being made at this point in time prior to the fiscal year running.
You'll need an increase out of the general fund. Developing your budget.
I believe that money was already budgeted and with my understanding.
Oh, sorry.
I didn't know if Brian was finished.
Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, if these were to be put into place by June, for the June paycheck, we would need to know by next week, number 1. Number 2, I believe his budget probably could handle it for this year because it's only a 1 month amount out of that, but we certainly would work with Amanda and Ryan on that to make sure that they aren't going over budget on any other funds. And then it looks like they've given us an amount here, and I was wrong. It is 15%. I don't know what I calculated a minute ago. I did it twice and it still said 23, but it is 15% for the benefits on that. Anyway, so we could put that money into next year's. That's what I've done with the other SOCs that have been adjusted, so that when you look at the budget here in next week when we start working on the entire budget, you'll see that amount in there if you approve it, just so you know.
Yes.
As for me, you know, in what I asked the Vice Chairman, answered my question because in the very beginning, when we were approached by other entities, other departments about the SOC, I was told that we do have the ability to cover these. And this particular department, all that they do for this county, we have to be very frank. We have to be able to say, we support you, and we thank you, and we're very grateful. So I have no problems agreeing to what they presented today. And in that, making approval for this to happen, especially for this department. You know, understanding what their people go through in a sense of, and then not getting paid. I mean, there are individuals that are making more than them that are not being so involved in protecting our community and being out there. I remember being on the street during Christmas Eve, missing Christmas Eve, meaning missing Christmas with family, but out there protecting. In that, whatever we can do to support this department and the people that are helping us, in a sense, the employees that have given up all that they have to serve, whether it be in all of their departments, we graciously will thank them and approve this with no hesitation. And that's how I feel, and I will always feel that way. So in that, I don't have to think about this. I understand what they're presenting, and I understand what they need. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. You're well deserved, and your people do a good job. My question was just if we can handle it overall. SOCs that are coming at us, but
Now,
we have to keep our sheriff department up. That's a given.
now, Chairman, there will be presented at this table departments that I may say no to, but that's based upon what I'm seeing, what they're doing, what they're performing, what's going on. But in the sense of performing and what's happening out there right now, I know what's happening out there. I know what's happening in our detention and the amount of population, the amount of dispatch, the amount of calls. It is overwhelming right now, and it will be overwhelming in the future. This is by far a small increase compared to what they should be making. You know, so in that, it's needed. If we are to try to at least keep our law enforcement department and all those departments underneath the sheriff's department available in a sense of personnel and not losing them. We need to do this. We have to do this. It's needed.
Anything further?
Right, could you also tell me, what does the workload look like compared to a bigger community or area of the state that has the same area to cover? Do you have any sort of idea of?
I don't have any statistical data, Mr. Chairman, regarding that question, but I can tell you that our agency is extremely busy. As are the other agencies around the state of Wyoming. I can sure find that information for you, but this is a busy county. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot of wheels turning, a lot of things happening, a lot of small communities, a lot of rural areas, and a lot of places very far in between that make this county up. And it from our wilderness to everything else that we have that we've got to patrol and protect and do things, search and rescue and the whole 9 yards. So very busy place. Fremont County always has been. But we are very lucky here in Fremont County that we have dedicated employees that work for the sheriff's office and all our other law enforcement agencies and EMTs, and of course, all of our outstanding and wonderful volunteers here in Fremont County that run our fire departments and search and rescue groups. We could not do it without them. And we're busy.
Thank you, Big Chair.
Okay. Anything further? Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We'll take a 5-minute break and back.
Chairman, I'd like to make a motion for approval for the, SLC, increase the sheriff department, presented to the county commissioners effective July 1st with any, amount fringe benefits changes also done by.
Second.
We moved and seconded to approve the SOC changes requested by the sheriff's office. And that final number will be determined once we figure out the benefits, increase as well. So further discussion.
Mr. Chairman, just for reference, we think it's about $150,000, for 15%, so just a reference number, not nailing anybody down.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Okay. Josh, you said you have to be somewhere?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
would you entertain a motion regarding the recreation board?
Yeah.
So these guys are longstanding, Josh McNary and Ron Cunningham, longstanding known entities. I move that we approve their reinstatement.
I'll second that.
Recreation board.
Second, okay.
Unless they want to have a chat, but
It's been moved and seconded to approve Josh McNary and Ron Cunningham back on the Recreation Commission. And how many openings do we have now? Just two?
Two.
And these are the only applicants. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Thank you all.
Fast enough.
Thanks for coming in.
Go through.
Yeah. They were sweating it.
See, guys,
Are you kidding? Sorry.
Yeah, it could be.
Good morning.
Good morning.
but that's like 18 years of service right there.
Yeah, no, I understand.
On one guy.
I understand.
Hey, if you'll introduce yourself and we'll start there.
Okay, so I'm Kay Watson, mostly a lifelong resident of Fremont County, lived away for about 10 years overall, but raised my family here. Fremont County is my home.
Okay, perfect. Was this your first time applying?
For this, yes.
Okay.
Well, for anything with Fremont County.
Okay.
I just recently retired,
Oh,
so this is a way for me to start giving back to the community when I didn't have time.
well, I retired.
Yeah.
And I got there.
Yeah, right,
Yeah,
right.
And I did the same thing.
Uh-huh,
Self-inflicted.
right, I know.
Is this our only applicant for the, and we have how many positions? Okay, well, if you have an opening statement,
I was just gonna kind of highlight a few things. My application kind of talked a little bit about it, but I volunteered in all my kids' sporting activities from board member, little league, soccer, all that, and it's concessions, coaching, everything that you do as a parent with your kids. I can continue to help with the RJFL League in Riverton that my late husband Brett helped build over 30 years ago. Served on the Riverton School Board. I've been volunteering at the Riverton Museum for a couple months now, just kind of helping them whatever they need. So I've been kind of cataloging some different things, putting things in their system, that kind of stuff. So that's been kind of fun working with them. I recently just started with the Library of Congress's By the People project, which is, I'm very excited about it, actually. There's a lot of documents that haven't been deciphered. So diaries, letters, that type of thing. So part of that job is that we would decipher those, and then those then become, once they're approved, they become searchable by anybody that would want to use those. I help volunteer with Friends of the Library, and then of course there's quite a few things I've done, work related, that governmental investment boards, those types of things. So again, I have a keen interest in history, would like to learn more about history. I plan vacations around historical locales most of the time.
so we have an opening in historic preservation.
Do you? Well, it might be something I'd consider as well.
Yep, perfect.
Haven't looked into that yet. So that's pretty much all I have to say.
Okay, well, thank you. If you don't, we will do a series of questions and we'll go from there.
All right.
So, Commissioner Frisch.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Hey, good seeing you. I've served with you on the school board for several years. So I know you're quite capable. The only thing that, maybe as a statement here is that, when you go into a board like that, you'll represent us, the commission. So, we'd like to keep in touch with you and know what kind of things, issues you may come up with. And, don't be afraid to let us know what's going on and let us know. I think we got a pretty good director there, so it'd be good to work with. That's about all I have, Mr. Chair. Welcome aboard, I think, so.
Commissioner Thomas.
Chairman, Ms. Watson. So, what do you think is important in terms of, what you see as key issues to wanting to be on the board?
Well, I mean, I think our history leads a lot of our decisions in our futures. And I think the more we know, the better we can make decisions, the better we can lead our future. I think history serves a very, I can't think of the word. Anyway, I think it's very important. I think it would be interesting to delve further into that type of thing. I've talked a lot with the museum staff just about, some of the things that they've got going and those types of things. And I think those are pretty well attended. A lot of the activities and the projects that they do. I know they have a lot of things for young kids and teenagers to participate in and learn about Fremont County history. So I think history is an extremely important thing for us.
Chairman, Ms. Watson, would you, what do you see as improvements? Vital improvements?
I don't know, I can't say that I've been into it long enough to know if there's vital improvements. I mean, I think we just need to continue to learn. I think we need to continue to delve into things, and continue to grow. Yes.
Thank you.
Commissioner Wilson.
Yes. Thank you for applying. Thank you. So the museum board has a pretty lengthy meetings. They have a workshop and then they have the regular meeting. And that takes a few hours. That's once a month. They also have a lot of, especially Lander has a lot of functions. And a lot of that's due to help volunteer to help those. If they have sheep shearing and apple something. The Christmas thing is like huge. I mean, it is like people. So I just want to know if you've got enough time to dedicate to that because it is pretty involved. They're ran very smoothly and they're on it. So, and then it travels from Lander to as they rotate Riverside. I don't know if you've ever had a chance to go to any of the meetings.
I have not.
Haven't you? Okay. Have you got a chance to read kind of any of the minutes?
I have, yeah,
Okay,
I've been conversing back and forth with Scott and Stephanie.
Okay.
So I've got the bylaws and the handbook
Okay,
and
very
some of the
good.
minutes and those types of
Very
things. So, yeah, and I guess in answer to your question, I feel confident I can do that again. I've just retired.
It's
So,
actually a lot of
yeah,
fun.
so I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing with my time.
Right.
And so to me, this was a good way to do that and a good way to help Fremont County.
Okay. So, that's probably all I've got. Thank you.
Commissioner Jones.
Thank you, and thank you for applying.
Thank
What's your? Have you been to Lander, Riverton, and Du Bois, or just those?
Have I been to the museums?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Out of all the collection, what stands out is? What do you?
Oh, gosh.
Lots of cool stuff.
There is a lot of cool stuff. And again,
Yeah.
I think our history, helps lead us forward.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I can pick what my favorite is. I mean, again, I like reading everything. I take a long time in a museum. My husband used to hate it because I will read every placard, everything. Yeah.
My son's a scientist and I will not go to an aquarium with him.
Right.
We don't have 3 days, pal. So I get that. Well, I appreciate your interest. You obviously, have waded in already, got a lot of information, so I don't have any other questions, just appreciate your interest. And, that's it.
Okay, thank you for applying.
Thank you.
I appreciate your, already volunteering. In your volunteering, what you see that maybe could be improved?
Well, so far what I've been doing is I've been in the basement and I'm helping catalog. They have boxes and they have session numbers and those types of things. So I'm taking those and putting them into the system. Or putting them where they are, what shelf they're on, what box, that type of thing. So that's the majority of what I've been doing so far. They have some work that they want me to start doing with some yearbooks and getting some things organized there. Newspaper articles, getting those organized, that type of thing. So I think the museum in Riverton has come a long way. I mean, compared to just even a couple of years ago, their exhibits and their programs and everything like that. I think they've grown leaps and bounds. Yep.
Well, that's all the questions I had. Thank you for that. Once again, thank you for applying and commissioners.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve, appoint Kay Watson to the museum board.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve Kay Watson as a new member of the museum board. Further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Right, thank you. There you go.
Thank you.
They go to work?
Yep.
Are these guys coming in or are they on some?
Double check the hallways.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, while we're waiting. Travel policy and procedure. Want to discuss travel policy and procedures real quick?
I know I've made some remarks on my pages. I'm finishing doing that right now, but I didn't know if anybody else had anything specific. I know last week I mentioned to you that Commissioner Thomas talked about the smoking in the vehicles, which is strictly prohibited, and if we have to have it fixed, like cleaned or whatever, because somebody does that, it's on them personally. I did add a section on cleanup, just because I also have like travel policies, and I think Emma and I can put this together so it's not redundant, but making sure that they know that they have to clean it up, and if it's a big mess, it's on them to clean it up too. I think the other thing I mentioned that if we seem to have a lot of accidents, so if they have an accident, I think it should be put in their personal file, no matter if it's their fault or not, just so we have that. So I agree. Those are the things I was looking at.
Do we have much trouble with them bringing the vehicles back not full of gas?
Occasionally. But not. I don't know,
It should be part of it.
Yeah, good. I think that's in the policy, isn't it?
Bring
Yeah, you're
it back
supposed
the
to bring
way,
it back full.
bring it back the way you found it.
Mr. Chairman, what do you do if somebody spills a copy of the seat?
I did that and I took a accident. I went and got a shampooer and I did shampoo it the best I could. I mean,
Do you say
myself.
that, though, you have, what coach, rain coach, horses, once in a while? Do you,
Detail them.
yeah, do you take it to him and? No,
I mean, I haven't. Have we had anybody ever detail them? No, not that I'm aware of.
you're, it's built something like that in there.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, and I said if that was
can
one of
leave
the,
that, So that was months that.
I did shampoo it because I felt horrible about it. Totally not.
That's what's happened, but at least it's. The next person jumps on it doesn't have a.
Do we,
What's child or something.
any further questions?
So, and as somebody that gets a deal every once in a while, I mean, what are we supposed to do if it's a mess?
Take a picture.
Well, then, I mean, who's responsible for cleaning it? I mean, is that on our dime? We take it to a car wash and get it vacuumed out, or is that? Well, I know we used to have car wash cards, and I think we were using them a lot back, 10 years ago. Everybody was washing their car every single time they checked it out, so some of these cars were getting washed daily. And I don't know if that's necessary, but I don't know if that's still an option to. That county age card, something.
Well, I think part of it is, when they're brought back, shouldn't be up to Emma or,
Or vehicle maintenance, so because that's I think people think vehicle maintenance does that, well, they don't even see them, they're here.
they don't see them unless broke down or something happened. But I think maybe we can get someone to just even stroll through there. Somebody that parks back there, parks in towards the back, just walk by and say, hey, that vehicle's dirty other than, the rain and the dust. I mean, that's understandable. But if they've left it a mess, then I think that we need to get a hold of that person that used it prior. Say that you better get this cleaned up. This is a privilege, not to be expected. Yeah.
I mean, the last time I had a vehicle experiment, I mean, it wasn't in bad shape, but it needed to be vacuumed and dusted out or something like that. It was just, kind of regular wear and tear.
Right.
Anyway, I also didn't want to be accused of being the guy that did that.
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
I think if it was, having driven the cars quite a bit, I think if it's easy enough to get whatever you need to do it. So, for example, what you're saying about the card, if there's a card that's on there and the card's dirty, I'm more likely to run it through the car wash, to be honest with you. If it needs a vacuum, I mean, and it shouldn't be a big deal to spend the $3 or whatever to vacuum it, but I know people who think that that's asking too much, but I don't know if there's a way to, if that same card can be used at some of these locations. I think we still get cards from Riverton. I think we still have cards at the one or two of them in Riverton, and I don't know if we have one of these guys, but we could look into that and just see what kind of options, because if it's easy, people will generally do it, I think, most people.
I think
The what?
Those car wash cards are here, they just need to.
Oh,
Maybe we should send them out with them every time and just say if it's bad or, look nice.
run it through before you bring it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cause I think it still does say on here that there is a wash card, and it does say that on the form, did you use the wash card? So Emma knows if they already used it. So let's say somebody did complain and it was a big storm of something and got it all dusty or whatever, she could say, no, it was washed, so.
Yeah.
I think the only, I'm sorry.
Consider if you take it for a minute.
A 401, yeah. Like the people that watch, like the people that watch Google from Germany that went up in the bighorn somewhere and got stuck. Yeah, don't do that. Yeah. So that's about, pretty much most of the stuff is still, the way it used to be. I had some of the stuff already pre-marked for you of things. I think the only thing on the credit card, I call them procedures, but the credit card procedures, I think the only thing on that is when people are in an emergency situation, they're gonna be flying somewhere and they realize their card is only for 2,500 and they're gonna take 3 people. And it's, that, and then their hotel rooms, blah, 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 they're gonna go over. So I've been handling that because there's no time to come to you. So I don't know if that's, because then when they get back, I make sure we reduce it again. So I don't know if they still need to come to you to get up on their limit, because I've been kind of handling it.
Well, I think you're doing the right, I think you're doing the right thing because there's no time to get board approval, but you know, they're in a bind or they need to do something.
I mean, I think if they would like it permanently moved up, then they should come to the
Yeah.
commission because you guys get to approve those. We have some new reimbursement forms, so we'll do some different stuff there. The IRS taxable stuff, I did review that with the IRS and it is all still accurate. So none of that's changed. I did put some notes in red on some of the things, just to make sure that we're still falling under the taxable rules on fringe benefits. And let's see what else we have. Other thing is like on the accidents, I just made myself a note that it says that they have to get 3 quotes, which I think does match our procurement policy. But probably just, I'll double check that to make sure that that verbiage doesn't conflict with that or say, see the procurement policy for how many bids or whatever. But I think 3 is adequate for what he's doing. I think he's probably okay on that because it's.
Well, I know Jared's told me that he's having difficulty getting 3 bids sometimes. But
Let me look at the procurement policy and make sure that he's doing what he needs to do, because, I mean, and then maybe some way to say, Emma does such good little forms for us, you might have to do another one that says, here's the 3 bids, and then if you can't get one, an explanation section.
Yeah.
Because we do have that with like our IT sometimes, or our boiler system, as you know, sometimes the only people that can do it are the ones that are in Salt Lake, because that's the kind we have, and that's the only place you can get it.
Right.
So there is an explanation sheet, but I think then when the auditors look at it, then we've just got the sheet that says, here's what they got, and here's where that part was, so. I think the only other thing to ask you at this point on, because there's a mileage reimbursement in here. If you're okay with this, I could just update it and we can move that one on, unless there's something that you guys have something really sitting in your mind that you'd like to do. Or if you'd like to see the cleaned up copy where we take out all the redundancies and make it like a travel policy, I could do that too. And then I don't know if you want the mileage rate to stay the way it is right now. Usually at this time of year, we look at that. And you're gonna ask me what it is. I think it's 50 and 60. 50. My glasses. Okay. 50 if you take your own car and there was a car available. I think that says 60 if there is a car, no car available. 60 cents. And I think the IRS is 72. 72 and a half. Let's please not do an half. Don't do that.
You're right.
72.
Mr. Chairman, Julie, we have instance where one was taken, they said it was at a destination, going to a destination. Then that destination changed, then they went out of state. I want that.
Yes, thank you for that. I forgot that. So that situation is we checked them out. This is when Becky was here. Checked it out.
Right.
Expected to be at one location. Found out it was wrecked.
Right.
It was not at the location it was supposed to
It's
be.
another state.
Yes, and so we did not know that. We did not know. They thought it was okay to do that. So a section that says something about if your destination changes from what you have checked out from the admin assistant, then you must call, call and make sure it's okay to change the destination, just so she has accurate records here. So thank you for that.
So you will include that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Anything else for travel?
Anything else for travel?
Are you good with mileage as it is right now?
60 cents?
60 and 50 if a county car is available and you take your own anyway. Okay. All right, we'll get that one done and we'll give you another policy soon. Probably not in the next couple of weeks as you got budget, but after that, we'll keep running down the list. Okay.
All right. Okay, Harold. You're up.
Batter up.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning. If you'll introduce yourself for the record and you have an opening statement. Or you can say it as well.
Okay, Harold Albright, from Du Bois. Been on the Fremont County Planning Commission for some time, and I'd like to continue on it. I believe that I have knowledge and skills that would benefit the people of Fremont County. I am retained on the Planning Commission. I acquired those skills by being in the construction trades and working with real estate developers.
Is that it?
That's it. Thank you.
Okay. We'll start with Commissioner Wilson.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, thank you for reapplying.
Yes, ma'am.
I really don't have any questions because I've worked with you for so many years. And I know you very well and how you operate and I appreciate what you do.
Thank
So
you.
just want to take that. Thank you.
Commissioner Frobisher.
Thanks, Harold. Good seeing you again. Thanks for coming all the way down here.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for helping us on the search and rescue building like you did there.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that. And Harold, I'm just really tickled that you're back on and want to be back on the board. So I don't really have any questions for you either. I was looking at your date expires here, 6/29 is what I got there.
That's if he's reappointed.
Yeah,
Oh, if he's reappointed.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so I was like, why is Harold? Okay, so anyway, I'm glad you've decided to help us out some more.
Well, you're welcome,
Appreciate
and it was my pleasure to help out with the search and rescue building.
Yeah, thank you.
That's working out good.
It is.
good.
Very well.
Commissioner Thomas.
Chairman. Sure, so thank you for your service and reapplying. My question is, why would you want to be on the board?
Self-reflected.
I have never had any experiences in my tenure on the board that would make me feel that I was not appreciated and that the input that I can provide is not appreciated. And it's been my honor and pleasure to help with the tempered development of Fremont County. We need growth. You know, we do, but it needs to be, that growth can't be uncontrolled. It needs to follow the guidelines, and we've got a very good set of guidelines, in my opinion, that were set out by the state of Wyoming and by Fremont County. And those have been reviewed quite a few times, and they've been adjusted to fit the growth of Fremont County. But I enjoy the work that I do on the planning commission, and I feel that I am valued and appreciated for what I do.
Thank you. Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Harold, thanks for reapplying. What do you think about your board chair? Domestic home somehow. Don't answer that.
I would just like to say that I'm appreciative of the work he does there.
Yeah. So, the only thing I think of right now, you've worked with, Steve, for many, many years, both you guys, and my question was gonna say, who looks like he's going to retire next year. You don't have to answer this now, but certainly would be interested in your thoughts on what the key person would look like there. Going forward. That's gonna be a significant change for us, especially with this policy. So.
It is gonna be a change, but I would hope that there are applicants to take his position that have the experience that he has. You can have a lot of qualifications and education,
Yeah.
and the experience is still important. And so I'm in hopes that you folks get applicants that have those same abilities.
Is that something, if we were to open that up, Lou, is that something you guys would be interested in participating in? Looking, helping us out?
I would.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I have no questions. I know Harold's been on here, well,
Long time.
21 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And we appreciate your effort and your input and all that. So, thank you.
Well, you're welcome. It's been my pleasure.
So we'll, Commissioner,
I was just gonna say, we got two to solve, we'll wait till.
Yeah.
Till we have both ready.
okay. If you'll stick around, we'll make a decision here, hopefully.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the consideration.
Yep.
That,
Steve.
Thank you, Commissioners. So I'm Steve Palmer. I've been on the planning board since I believe February of 2020. It's a little over 6 years. I'm chairman for a good part of that time. I would tell you that we certainly appreciate Harold's historical knowledge of the planning commission and the steady input that he's given for many years before I got there. But it's really nice to know where we've been in the past. And Harold really brings that to the board. That, there's things that I wasn't a part of, even Steve wasn't a part of, that Harold was. So it's kind of an historical knowledge. I think adds a lot for Harold. I'm a recently retired attorney, practiced for 34 years, did a lot of real estate, represented a number of title companies, been a developer in Sweetwater County and here in Lander as well. So that's the criteria. I think it's what I bring to the commission. The boots on the ground experience. I've been in a number of counties with litigation over planning and zoning, and I think I got my feet wet in those areas. I like our set of regulations. I echo Harold's comments that I think we have a good regulations to work with. We've tweaked those ad nauseum at times over the years. We've reworked the large subdivision, the small subdivision. But I think we've come to a real workable set of regulations. I have some concern about the commission replacing Steve. I really would encourage you to get someone with some planning experience. His knowledge is invaluable. He's a great leading director for us. And it really has. He knows his knowledge of the county is going to be hard for the commission to replace, that's for sure. So I've also appreciated my years on and look forward to doing another term. I don't know that I will be here in 21 years like Mr. Albright, but I'm signing up for 3 more years if you'll have me.
Thank you. Commissioner Thomas.
Sure.
So, same question, Mr. Palmer. Why?
For the same reason, I'm interested to see the growth in the county and to see that it's done in a consistent manner, in a uniform manner. We don't really sometimes prefer variances in the county because we are trying to do even-handed across the Du Bois area and Lander area, countywide Shoshone. It's an interesting county when you spend a day on site visits and can go from South Pass to Shoshone to Du Bois. You realize how large we are. But I think it's an important mechanism for the county to secure the county's future in the right direction, and that's why.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Steve, how has it changed in your time? I know you came in and everybody has a set of assumptions and I wasn't going to ask Harold that because changing over 20 years can be a history lesson, but I'm just curious how things have changed and or your perceptions have changed, just insights from your time on the board.
Sometimes I think that Steve's office has filtered out a lot of before it gets to us. And that's, I think, one of the valuable mechanisms of him. I think when I first got on, maybe a little more controversial, maybe more people for public input were here because the understanding wasn't there. And I think that's really credit Steve's office for that because I think the public has a better understanding of what's gonna happen when it gets to us. We haven't had a lot of large subdivisions in the last 5 years. Seem to always be the 5 and 6 small, simple subdivisions that we're seeing. So seems like it's smaller and a little further apart the last year.
Mr. Chairman, one more question. I've heard it said, or at least I've heard the observation that our large subdivision, it's the burden on the developer is quite a bit steeper. And that's one of the deterrents that we're seeing, but I'm just wondering if that's real or if just fact we don't have anybody wanting to take on those kinds of projects in a smaller community.
Well, I've done a large subdivision within the city limits of Lander.
Yeah.
It is burdensome. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a much larger process, a lot more cost prohibitive. I think the burden needs to be where it is. I mean, it's not a public-private partnership. It's the developer in charge of putting in those, the infrastructure required,
Right.
not really leaning back on the county. And I think that's obviously why we don't see it. We see people doing phases of 6 and 7 lot subdivisions instead of one 20 lot subdivision because of cost involved.
Thank you.
Commissioner Wilson.
Yes, thank you for reappointing.
Thank you for being our liaison.
I've worked with you too, and for over the years, and I know what you do, and I appreciate it all. It's like Harold, you know, you guys put a lot into what you do, a lot of thought into what you do, fairness into what you do, and I appreciate all for all the readings we've had with our different programs we do with, you know, we talked about, but Mike just brought up something that I thought was probably pretty interesting. I would like to see some of the experienced board with some interviews. I think that would be pertinent to our new planner.
Commissioner, I would echo Harold and say I would be
It's like,
happy to be a
yeah, 'cause
participate in
it
that
is
process.
so detailed and so involved, and we really need that kind of person that knows, has a really good knowledge and background and experience with that. So that we keeping with what we do here. So, yeah, I don't really have any questions for you, because I already.
Thank you.
Commissioner Fabricius.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thanks, Steve, for replying.
Thank you.
We appreciate your service that you've done already. Steve, that's all the good questions have been asked. Let me ask you a question. We have planning, you know, some counties have zoning too. We have a situation down in Gardens North. And a lot of the people that are living there don't keep up to the covenants that they've been there to live. How sitting on this side of the fence, how would you go about having them take care of the properties better? Get a lot of trash and we get a lot of abandoned mobile homes, that kind of stuff. How would you go about getting that scenario? Because it attracts other things too that are not good for the community as a whole. So what kind of suggestions would you have for us? Any kind of suggestions? I know this kind of put you on the spot here, but.
Well, maybe only perhaps that covenants tend to be only enforceable by other landowners within the subdivision. I think the burden would fall squarely back on them to enforce those. It would be nice if there was a regulatory body that might take that up, but I don't think the county wants to bite that kind of litigation off. It takes interested parties within the subdivision, then it seems to fracture relationships when someone does enforce them. Yeah, I think when I initially interviewed with the board, north of Rock Springs I was involved in some litigation out there. I'm not a big zoning fan, but there are areas where it would have helped do a uniform grow out, you know, build out compared to what actually got built. But I think covenants are there. To me, it's buyer beware. If I buy into a subdivision and there's covenants, I should be expected to adhere to those. If not, my neighbors can hold me, put my feet to the fire, so to speak. But other than neighbors, I don't have a good answer for that.
Okay. That's an issue that Jennifer and I have been kind of wrestling with.
Well, I
So, appreciate your advice.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Steve, thank you for reapplying. I don't really have any questions concerning your application. I do have a question, and I meant to talk to Harold about it too, was about all these data centers that's going around. In fact, I hear that they're putting one at Lost Cabin.
We're trying.
And so I just need to, I think we need to have some rules in place and, you know, setback rules for one and, I don't know. I don't know what you hear so much bad and then you hear good and you don't know what to believe. So I think we ought to, the planning commission should come up with some rules, some thoughts on how we proceed moving forward.
I think we struggled a little bit with that, with trying to do solar and wind.
Mhm.
And we tried to do it ahead of time instead of being reactionary,
Right.
but actually put out some rules and regulations that made sense ahead of time.
Mhm.
So I think that would make sense. I had not heard that someone at Lost Cabin was.
Yeah.
And I've often wondered if our county was, if there was any grid locations that would be really, yeah, or really that would make sense to tie in.
Mhm.
If we did have that within the county, like, you know, Cheyenne seems to have both the railroads, both the interstates, and a number of major networks right there. And I'm not sure where in this county that would all
Yeah.
fit. But it's certainly something the commission should consider.
Exactly. And I don't know why, you know, they got the infrastructure as far as the power and, they, I don't know the situation. I know they couldn't use produced water because got too much salt in it. And, but they do after the gas goes through the gas plant, they do have a discharge permit, so that water is good enough to probably use for their cooling system. But I've also heard that they breached the reservoir holding that water. And which is unfortunate because this, especially this year being dry, with no beneficial use for that water. But anyway, I would just hope that maybe we can pursue that. And if I get any more information, I'll let you know.
Okay. Well, I haven't crossed our desk yet, but it would be interesting. to
And I'm
talk
not,
about.
and I'm not so sure that they know that they need to get it approved through the county prior to starting to build. So I'll make some phone calls and let you all know.
Yeah.
But
I think we need to have a conversation.
all right, commissioners.
Mr. Chairman. Is it about one?
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I move to approve, Steve Palmer and Harold Albright back to the planning commission board.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to reappoint Steve Palmer and Harold Albright back on the planning commission for another 3-year term. That'll be 24 years. Anyway, further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Thank you all for coming in and reapplying.
Thank you, Commissioner.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Will do.
Commissioner.
Yep.
I may.
Sure.
So in regard to your question to Steve about the data centers. You know, we need to, definitely the county as a whole and the state needs to look at the impact, especially the long-term impact. But right now, I believe that we do have
enough regulation in place if we look at it from the standpoint of putting burdensome cost on the county as far as the impact on roads and streets and law enforcement and that. I think we have that in place right now. We may have to enforce it more. We may have to tweak it a little bit. And as far as the planning is concerned, if we address that as we have all the other growth and development issues, is that one of the most important things that we look at are public safety, health, and welfare. We can always take a close look at that and hold their feet to the fire so that they don't cause any negative impact on the county in those areas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Earl.
With that, we'll go to health insurance, retirement, and SOC discussion. So, got it. Yes. Yeah.
Let's go. We have 13 minutes.
13 minutes. All right. I'll take 12 and a half.
There you
All right. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Vice President, Chairman,
go.
whatever. So we have a need, of course, to nail down our health insurance rates for this upcoming year. And so what I have presented to you, there's two different pages. One of them that has a little yellow box on there is a comparison between the current year's rates, which is in the left-hand column, and then our proposed year rates for next year for health insurance. I have it broken down by the employer paid portion of it in the top third of it, and then the employee paid portion in the bottom 2/3 of the front page. So this includes our health insurance premiums, as well as the death benefits and our MASA premiums for the ambulance coverage. And those are all on the employer side of things. And then there are health insurance premiums that are paid for by the employee, depending on what tier that they are in and which plan that they choose. From the county's perspective, we're agnostic when it comes to that. It doesn't matter whether they are covering a family or an individual, or whether it's high deductible, low deductible. The county's portion of that is the same across the board. So in our analysis of the health plan, and you'll hear more about this later, is in pretty good shape financially. So we are able to limit our increases this year to 1% increase on health insurance rates. And you'll see down below that it's not exactly 1% on the employee side, just because of rounding. We want to keep it to even dollars. then on the backside of that page, you'll see a comparison then of our retiree rates as well as COBRA rates for those people that are in those programs on our health plan. Currently, we have nobody on COBRA, and I believe we have 2 participants on the retiree side of things. So, questions on that?
Questions, any questions? Okay,
The only thing I would add is that our committee, our health insurance committee had met on this and had determined our vote was to go ahead and do a 1% on both sides for the employee and the county. And that's the numbers that he showed you here today so that you would know that. And this is on a monthly basis, right?
Yes, these amounts are on a monthly basis. You'll see that I estimate that this will generate just about $6.1 million worth of premiums to come into our health plan.
okay.
Yes, do we need to make a motion?
So, Mr. Chairman, we're just giving you information today because we're going to be looking at all sorts of things. I think we want the rate to be figured out today, though.
Yes, ideally we
Think
do,
so.
because I do
Yeah.
need to get, especially our COBRA rates sent to Blue Cross and Blue Shield so they can get that programmed in.
The motion to approve the rate that was stated by the treasurer for the,
What's the password?
for the health insurance and then the retiree and COVID.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? We have proposed to accept the rate proposed to us from the health committee of increasing our health insurance rate 1% for the county and the employee. Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is carried. Back to you, Larry.
All right, retirement.
Mr. Chairman, as I had mentioned to you earlier, last year, the law enforcement started their 2-year stint of moving up of a 1.8 each year. And then, so I'm just talking to you right now, you don't have anything written necessarily. And so they're on their 2nd year of the 1.8 going up. Last year, we just did what we had normally done. The county has been paying about 66%, the employee 34%. Law enforcement is higher than a public employee. So at least I want to have that discussion about that a little bit, but so now the public employees are starting their 2 years this year, so it'll be this year and next year, and it's 0.5 each year, again, 66.34, which we had finally gotten law enforcement and public employees amount that was taken out of their check even. We are not at that point anymore, number one. Number two, what I bring for you, and not all counties have responded, but this colorful one, and I know there's a lot of yellow and stuff that was supposed to tell me who has done and who has not done, and it means absolutely nothing at this point. I know Sublette County did let me know this morning that they are going to continue to pay it all. So looking there, what I did is put it in the order of how much the employee has to pay. And you can see that Fremont County, I thought we were the highest, but actually Sheridan County is above us in how much they make their employees pay. So I just wanted to give you a visual. I don't think we need to do anything today. I would like next week to talk about some stuff. So today I'm just going to give you some ideas around, the chairman had some ideas for employees. Here's one place that you can also affect for employees. This is current. It doesn't have the new numbers on it for us. So for the, right now for the Fremont County to go up on the public side, they would be starting to pay, I think it's 6.50. I don't think I have it on here. No, yeah, it'd be the same as Sheridan, so 6.62, but our law enforcement is even higher than this. I think they're at 7. Look here, sorry. varied. They would go from 7.07 currently to 7.68. We would be highest in the state for them. And ours would go from 6.12 to 6.50, not the 62. Okay, so just with that in mind, the next piece of paper that you have that's looks like this is I sort of talked to you a little bit when the chairman started talking about how can we help employees with their wages. So one of the things that I looked at was, so the top row is currently, this is how much the county pays. I took it right out of payroll. So we pay 23,210 for all of employee costs. And then if I did the same thing as we've been doing with these new numbers, as we just said, going up to the 7.68 and the 6.50, then you would be paying $835,726 more this year because of the increase in retirement required for us to do. So part of that is yours. But I also looked at, okay, what if the next one, I forgot to mark it. The next one is, what if you said that the county employees only had to pay 5%? Oh, it is over here, sorry, 5%. And then that would decrease them by the 1.5 and 2.63. And the county now would pay $1,270,813. Or what if you said that the county employees only had to pay 4% of their retirement? Then this is the number there, $1,415,331. And any other numbers you want to throw out at me, I have a way to calculate that fairly quickly. So again, these are all just for you to think about because there's a lot of options that have been thrown on the table. And I just wanted to give you some that some counties have done. I know Carbon County was close to where we were, and that's what they did one year is that's money in your pocket. So what does that mean? So then the next one that looks a little bit better is on a spreadsheet. So I said, well, what does that do? So the top two people on there are law enforcement, just so you know. The second two people on there are not law enforcement. So if you look down below, you can see LE and public. So for somebody making $55,400 currently, they are paying out of their paycheck annually $7,607. That goes into their own retirement. And remember, this is their money. Once you're vested in Wyoming retirement for 4 years, this is your money. If you have them do the increase like we have been doing, then their piece for going up would be $8,266 a year. And this is, I don't know why this seems backwards. This 5% should be a savings. Maybe the top is the county portion. The top is the county portion. I believe must be. Yes, it's the county portion. Sorry. So those would be, if then you would be paying the $9,750 and the 4%, you'd be paying the $10,304. Sorry, should have marked that. Down below is their portion. So right now, a $55,400 salary, they pay $3,917 annually. And if it went to the regular, it's going to go up to $4,255. If they only had to pay their 5%, it would go down to $2,770, in essence, putting money in their pocket. And if you went down to 4%, it would be $2,216. So again, you could see those go down. That puts money in their pocket without actually doing a pay increase. So those are just some ideas for you to look at. In addition to that, I did send to the commissioner or the chairman an email yesterday on his idea of 3,000 or 5,000 per employee. And I got smart and used gravity instead of trying to just figure out what's what. So what I sent to Commissioner Allen was, if you gave all full-time employees $2,000 a year and then $1,500 a year for those that are 20 hours and then prorate the others. I sort of did the proration, not exact, but because I don't know exactly what everybody gets. The total amount of the increase with benefits is $883,080. to give all full-time employees $5,000 a year and then 2,500 a year for those with 20 hours and then prorate the others. That would be 1,221,517. That also includes benefits. So I'm just giving you a lot of options. I think the big thing that we need to look at here, of course, is where are we at with the budget? And I have half of that done. And seen some pretty steady numbers for us. I mean, I think we're looking pretty good. So the money that we have saved from before is still going to be there if you want to do something in this manner. I think what we wanted to just bring is those kind of things of ideas for you. So you could just individually look at those and kind of figure out that. So number one, I think you really need to figure out how much money, how we're doing with the budget, number one, and how does that, what of that extra money do we have to balance the budget with, which hopefully isn't a lot of that. And then number two, then how much is left and how much do you want to spend? Because then you have to keep that going year after year after year. And I'd be happy to work any of these out. I've got them in spreadsheet formula so I can change something and it should help me change everybody. But more than anything, I just wanted to bring it forward. The retirement does have to happen, whether you pay it all or you pay it dividing it out to the employees. So that one for sure, we have to do something on that. The pay increases specifically is up to you guys, whether or not you do that for any or nothing or whatever. So with that said, I could answer any questions that you might have right now. That's really all we want to do is get it to you and that you have it.
So with what you sent me yesterday with the $1,000 a year and then a $2,500 a year for those 20 hours and prorate the others, that would be 1,221,517. And that would be on top of
Retirement.
yeah,
And it depends on what you do for retirement.
right.
And
So
again,
I'm just thinking that just for example, like 5%, that they would decrease their premium by 5%. But that would cost an additional 1.27.
Yeah.
813.
well, that's the difference between the two. Yeah, when I went ahead and put it in Gravity, I let it calculate everything. I didn't do anything. And then I printed it out and then I changed it back. So that's what it's telling me is that for all of our employees, if you subtract from the very top, this one from that one, that's what it came up to be. Yep, no, me too.
So yeah, right.
And if you do what we've been doing, it's still 835,000 that you're going to be putting in for them for their retirement in the way we have been doing it. And that's why I said I think it's important because again, let's go back to why that happened. Couple things. Our health insurance is the same way that we do require people to put money into that. And there's a lot of great things that people can do with their health insurance. They can decide is a high deductible plan, which really doesn't cost me anything. The county's putting X amount of money in there. I really don't have to do that. If you do the wellness, again, that helps you reduce your amounts. I mean, there's so many great things in our health insurance. So we should be very proud of the plan we have in Fremont County because you couldn't buy an off-the-shelf company somewhere and get that kind of good deal. The second part of it was when we were really needing money one year, we were doing furlough. We were thinking of furloughs and how much that would, save and all that stuff. And one of them we came up with as a finance team was, hey, pay for your own retirement partially. And it's not exactly what the state does. The state is almost half and half, it looks like, when you look at theirs. Ours is very close, to closer to them than not. We are one of the higher ones asking people to do that, but it does save money. And again, it is their money and they voted for that in the survey. Now, a lot of those people maybe are not here anymore and maybe don't understand that. So I think it's important to just say what that history is for you all, so.
Well, I mean, irregardless whether we vote, we approve an increase or however we do adjust all the employees' salary. We've got to consider, my original idea was 3 years and under would be 3,000 and 4 years to 5 years would be 4,000. But that's what happens if you have a new employee that's been there 6 months and you have another employee that's been there 3 years. That's not equal pay for that employee or for those two employees because one just started. I'm looking at retention and recruitment. And then we have, maybe we could do it 4 years to 2 years, or I don't know how to, but I'm just.
Mr. Chairman, I appreciate you thinking that direction. I think a couple of us, I know Tara and I've talked for sure. I think when you do something like that, all the SOC work that we did and getting them, then you're going to get these weird offsets. There's another thought process that we have done in the past before is if you have a pool of money that you're okay with giving raises and you're okay, now your departments would have to report to you, but elected officials, we did kind of do our own, but I think we've always reported back to you. You can give those to the departments with some guidelines. Hey, we really are concerned about our incoming people and keeping them, or whatever your guidelines are, just to kind of tell us how you'd like to see it spent. And then we could work that. And that way we work it into where our SOCs might be. We've done that where we just take a dollar amount and say, for every employee you get X, and please go do, work on like I just mentioned last week, with our SOCs is that, here we are finally, coming up to 25, and we heard that today, we're just barely getting to 25. For some of us, it would help us bridge that gap to maybe get them to 25. So I applaud you for looking at those kind of things, but there's a lot of different directions we could go on that, I think.
And a short time to get there.
Right. I'll throw another wrench in the month. So I really like this benefits thing with the different options here for our retirement and stuff. Would we work into another incentive at X amount of years you get less and less taken out? Give them.
I don't know if I'm in retirement, but let us see. You probably would, I don't know.
Can you,
I don't know.
like,
And I don't know how hard that is for payroll, so I'd have to ask
Yeah,
for
I
that
know.
first of all.
I don't know, but I just thought maybe that might be an incentive after so many years. Cause I'm looking at the 4% and then the other options you've got here. The longer they work, the less we take out. We pay more the less they have to. Might be a nice incentive too, another perk of. Because every time it seems like we give an SOC, we raise something. And so if it was just, and then just figure out how that money is in there too, so everybody's getting equal fair, but yet you're working here, you're dedicated to your position. I mean, they're working, and I think that we need incentives for those long-term. So we always seem to run into problems with SOCs and stuff. Well, here's another option too that we can choose for them.
And that is definitely something we can look at. I think the problem with that is gonna be an overtime thing, you know, and like overtime, how does that, and these are gonna start again after 2 years. I mean, when I read the Wyoming retirement, you get these 2 years and then they might have a year's break, or maybe you start right into law enforcement again. I mean, they used to be like on a 4-year schedule, and now they're doing like 2 in every legislative session, they're changing it.
Okay.
So I think the problem with that, I mean, it's a little bit labor intensive, I think, for payroll, keep up with that, but I mean, let me think about that a little bit and talk to payroll and see what her process is. I don't want to be like, what we just talked about earlier today and thinking it's a great idea, and then JP goes, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? So I'm smart enough to at least go ask her that question.
Yeah, I didn't know if there's like when we do our programs, if it's like a date on the event, is it their anniversary comes up, can we look at we're hanging with
We can look at that, because she does have the anniversaries for your vacation time
Yeah.
changes.
something in.
We could maybe put them together, to
Trigger
say,
that.
okay, something like at okay,
Yeah.
let me at least ask her the
Okay.
question. Okay,
That might be a little challenging. Budgeting stuff.
yeah, that would be.
Well, yeah.
I think we will.
And then putting it,
Right.
yeah,
I just thought maybe it might be a
yeah.
perk for keeping her.
Anything else? All right, so we will hopefully have, not hopefully, we will have your budget look. We're, like I said, we're really close. Jim and I just need to do some fund balance stuff and see how that looks. People in their departments, for how much they're spending is looking really good. I don't know that I'll have to do a lot of budget hearings, knock on wood, but everybody's staying within their budgets that they got last year. Looks like a lot of them really haven't increased that much this year. That's been too bad. There's some payments last year that we had that were high that we won't have this year, like indigent care. We were done with that last year. So that's that's like 350,000 that will be better. I thought our insurances were skyrocketing, but only the cybersecurity got a little bit crazy on us. Even the fire suppression is down from last year. So some of those things are good news.
Even the cybersecurity, Homeland Security, don't they have a grant available to help curb the cost of the increase of cybersecurity?
We did get not from that, but we did get a discount because it went up so high. I don't know about, it's through Warm is where we get our insurance, so. I don't know. Anyway, I think that's all we have for you this morning.
Okay.
All right.
With
Thank you.
that, we'll break for lunch and come back at 1:30.
Okie dokie.